Hi, welcome back. I want to talk briefly about loan to value. Initially I had thought I would just upload a document because loan to value is a pretty easy concept. It's essentially the size of the loan divided by the value of the property, easy breezy. But the more I thought about it, I realized that loan to value, although it seems straightforward, and it could seem straightforward to some borrowers, it isn't everything that it seems to be on the surface. There's a little bit more to it and ideas that you should know. So I thought I'd just record this short video to help explain some of those. So first thing I want you to consider is the size of a loan. I don't want to say has nothing to do with value, but the size of the loan, just in your mind, decouple it, separate it from what the value of a property might be or what the asking price of a property might be. The size of the loan has everything to do with the net operating income. So again, I'm focused right now on income producing properties, and let's assume they're stabilized. So if you have a stabilized asset, it's producing income, the way that the loan is sized, the way that the proceeds are determined is solely focused on the net operating income. So if you have a dollar of income, and let's just say hypothetically, let's use real numbers. Let's say you have $100,000 annually of net operating income, and it is selling at a 10 yield or a 10 capitalization rate. You could buy that property for $1 million. Using the NOI of the property, you could then determine the size of the loan and then determine the loan to value. On the other hand, if you have the same exact property located in a highly desirable area, let's say in Manhattan, and you have $100,000 of income at a 5% cap rate, the value of the property is double what it is in a 10 cap rate market. The value of the property, or what someone is asking for the property on a for sale basis, is $2 million. It has the same exact income, $100,000. The value is twice as much. However, the size of the loan is pretty much the same. It might be the loan might be a little bit bigger in the Manhattan case because, as I review in another video, the better the location, the metrics change in terms of the underwriting. But let's just say for illustrative purposes in this video, you have the same $100,000 with a building that's twice as much. Your loan is not going to be twice as much. Your loan will be a little bit more than the 10 cap, but you could see that the loan to value on a $1 million building with the same amount of income coming in is going to be larger, greater than the loan to value on a building that is highly priced. In today's market, when I hear someone tell me that they were promised an 80% loan to value in a 5 cap or a 4 cap market, as I just described, I know right away that person really is being led down a path. And I hope you wouldn't do this, but some originators and some intermediaries know full well that 80% is not going to be possible on a 4 or 5 cap valuation, but they engage with the borrower hoping to at some point, and again, this is something you need to know because some of your competitors might do this, and it's incumbent on you to explain this to maybe a new buyer, that some originators or intermediaries might promise an 80% loan to value on a 4 cap purchase. You don't even have to look at the numbers. You know full well that there's no way you're going to get to an 80% loan to value on a 4 cap purchase. So you have to watch out or instruct your borrowers about the bait and switch. I hope none of you would ever do that. but it's done. So it's something you need to know. So the loan to value, again, is the size of the loan or the proceeds of the loan divided by the value of the property, either on a sale or an appraisal basis. So most lenders will provide a rate sheet, and not a term sheet, but a rate sheet. They provide you what the types of loans are that they have, what are some of the metrics that they're using to determine if they want to make a loan, and the different rates and terms and so on. On those rate sheets and on a phone conversation, again, this is like your first conversation with somebody, they will describe their credit box. They will tell you straight up, we will go as high as. That's not the same thing as we will go as high as for you and for your property. They will say we will go as high as 75% or 80%. The footnote, which is the unspoken, because they assume that you know this, is, hey, the final loan size is completely dependent on the income of the property. So you may end up getting a loan of $500,000 on a property that's being sold for $1 million or 50% loan to value. On the other hand, you might just get that 80% loan or an $800,000 loan on a $1 million property. You just don't know until you see the numbers. So this might come in, for example, when you're dealing with a new buyer or somebody who's kicking tires, and they want to know based on how much money they have in the bank to spend. Let's say they have $300,000 and they want to go buy a property, and they're looking at $1 million properties because they heard that the lenders will do 70% loan to value. So they're making offers on $1 million properties, only to learn that if they're in a 4-cap market where the values are pretty high, that, man, they need $600,000 because the loan size is going to get compressed based on the metrics of the lender and how it's calculated. Conversely, you might be in a market where, and I really don't see this much, but you might be in a market where it's a 7 or 8 cap or a 9 cap, and you have ample income to justify a loan that's as high as 85%. Will the lender lend you 85%? The answer is probably not. And what that is called is LTV constrained. So in other words, the lender is constraining you or pushing the LTV down below 85% to what their credit box allows. Again, it could be 70 to 80% or lower. So you might find, for example, in properties that are just cash flow beasts, where the lenders right out of the blocks will tell you our credit box is 65% loan to value max. Even if your property underwrites to 85% loan to value, we're not going to go that high. We're going to keep it down to 65% loan to value max. So when you're talking with your lenders and you're understanding their programs, they give you an indication of what they can do. Even if they give you an indicative quote on what they think they can do, again, the LTV is going to always circle back around to the calculation based on net operating income. So again, it's a very brief overview, but there are some points in there I think you should know, and that's LTV. Thank you so much.